How's it gaming? I'm Phil in the Blanks and welcome to Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, a game where you play really old games really fast. There's like 150 something challenges in this game, ranging from like a couple seconds to a couple minutes, and here is me going through every single one of those challenges with an S rank. So if you are wondering kind of like a specific movement or something that you might have been missing to get an S rank, here it is. We're not going to be talking about each individual challenge, we're just going to be whipping through them real fast while I talk. So this is not like a crazy walkthrough, let's just get going with Super Mario Brothers. First up, get the Super Mushroom. So the game is basically, it's a bunch of old NES games, 13 exactly, and each game has a bunch of challenges, and you have to do a specific small task within a certain amount of time. And there's like a C rank, a B rank, an A rank, it's like A+, A++, and there's S. And S is obviously the best rank you can get, and it wasn't too hard to get every single S rank in this game. It was actually fairly easy, all things considered. If you are a decent gamer, you should have no problem getting through this entire game with A++s at least, and most being S's. Now, with Super Mario Brothers, I've noticed that the earlier challenges, the stuff that's like 3 seconds and 18 milliseconds or whatever, they're the hardest ones. They require very, very, very specific movement. If you're off by like 2 or 3 frames, you're getting an A++. So just follow along kind of what I'm doing in the sense that like, that way you get your flow of movement and all that. But the longer challenges are way easier. Like here is complete all of World 1-1. And this is a lot easier than the smaller challenges because you have a lot more wiggle room for mistakes and whatnot. But for the most part, the challenges are not super difficult. There's 10 or so that are like, oof, that was hard. That took me a little while. But these longer form challenges, not too bad. This one took me a while. Break 20 bricks. It's just about finding the right route, you know what I mean? You could just stay there and do all those, but that's a lot slower than going forward, because the higher you have to jump, the higher Mario's in the air, and the more time it's taken to hit all those blocks. So this is kind of why this video is made, so that if you're not understanding why did I not get an S there, it's the fastest I can think of. This is a way for you to just kind of see real quick, oh, that's how someone else did it. You don't need an explanation. None of these really need an explanation. Or someone to talk over. It's just really watch what they're doing and go, oh, okay, I get it. You know, there's specific movement involved, that sort of thing. I'm just talking because I just talk a lot. I don't really do non-commentary videos because, I don't know, those are a dime a dozen. You want to go see someone play all these S ranks with no commentary, there's already like 14,000 videos online about these. But my channel is more about me and you sitting on the couch playing games together, and this is no exception. You know, you've come over, we're having a couple beers, I'm showing you all my S ranks on my Nintendo World Championship, and then you're like, wow, Phil, good job, you know, basically all it is. But yeah, no, the game came out, last week, and it took me 2 days to S rank the entire thing. It's really not super difficult, like I said. I was recovering from my wisdom teeth coming out, so I didn't have much to do, so I've been playing this, and it took, I don't know, 4 hours? 4 hours of full play in order to do this, which isn't long. And I guess the combined time of all my S ranks equals about 58 minutes, according to the game. But my big tip for you is on the longer form challenges, if you think you screwed up, continue the challenge anyways. For example, what is this one? This is get 30 coins. You do kind of have to, this is a longer form one, 51 seconds, fairly long, but I mean like the big one, like the last challenges of the game. For example, for Mario Brothers, it's to beat the entire game. And I make a ton of mistakes, and I still went ahead and did it because I just wanted to see what the rank would be, and I still got an S rank. So it's worth finishing the challenge, even if you're not sure if you're going to make it. So this one is basically beat World 2. Get the warp zone. You don't have to be super fast. I'm not a speedrunner by any means. Some people are amazing at this, like that. That was time lost, kind of hugging the pipe there. Still got an S rank. So you don't have to worry about it. And if you've played a lot of these older games, a lot of this is going to come really easily to you. Like a slide there, and I still got it. In that World 2 too. Easy enough. Use your common sense, basically. What I love about the game, though, is that to start a challenge over. It's just Zed and sorry, not Zed, L and R, and it's bam, 3, 2, 1, go. I love how fast it was to just kind of start the next challenge. So they did a great job with this. Now, a lot of people have talked about this, and we're going to talk about it too, is that a game like this had already come out for the Wii U and the 3DS, called the NES Remix. And a lot of people agree that the NES Remix games are way better than this one was. Now, they are two very different ideas. NES Remix was remixing, hence the name, a bunch of older NES games into various things like beat this level of Mario, but you, like, the screen is flipped, or you can't jump, or something like that. And there are a lot of really cool things. And if you got both NES Remix 1 and 2, it was 26 NES games, and that's a lot. Like, that's almost, that's nearly every Nintendo-created, designed, and published NES game. That's crazy. With this, it's only 13 games, and the challenges aren't as in-depth. Except for some of these. This is an amazing one. It's the last challenge of Super Mario Bros. And it is to beat the entire game with warp zones, thankfully, because that'd be absolutely ridiculous to ask them to do warpless. That'd be like more than half an hour, basically. This is the only challenge in the entire game that I S-ranked that I use the rewind feature. If you get hit, the game will rewind you about a second or two. And you can keep going. Now, I was just curious, so I kept playing. I was like, I wonder if it'll even count, or if it's possible to get an S rank if you rewind. And it totally is. This is the only challenge in which I rewind. Every other challenge I was able to do without it. I just kept this because I was just flabbergasted when I beat it. I was like, really? That's an S rank? This was a terrible run. So I just kept it. I didn't bother doing it again. But you'll see what I mean, especially near the end. Like, I get to a point where I just hit Hammer Brothers like 4 times. I'm just like, rewind, rewind, rewind. So while a lot of the smaller challenges are very, very specific about your movements and your flow and all that, the longer, like, legend challenges are way easier. It's kind of funny, actually. Speaking of funny, this is a random thing. So difficulty, see up there, it says 5 stars, legend. There's a 1 star, easy or whatever. There's 3 stars, hard, 4 stars, master, and 5 stars, legend. But I don't think there's a single 2-star challenge in this entire game. It's so weird. Like, you couldn't make one of them a 2-star. It's such a random thing. But, yeah. But yeah, no, this game came out, and it was kind of, it was leaked a little bit online. I'm just gonna take a quick swig. It was leaked online a couple weeks before it was announced, and everyone kind of saw it coming. And it was pretty cool. I remember when they announced it, I thought it would look pretty neat. I liked the presentation. The whole, like, background with the 8-bit grid kind of thing. I like how you can choose your profile with, like, my name is Phil, obviously. But you can choose, like, a little title. Mine has a lifetime of NES memories, and you can put a little icon. I like the skidding Luigi. I think it looks really good. And your favorite NES game. And the crazy part is they list every single fully licensed NES game. It is crazy seeing, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and a bunch of, like, the Addams Family. Like, these are licensed things. It's cool that they have... I mean, I guess you don't need permission. It's literally just a list of games. But it's cool to see Nintendo technically referencing them. So, of course, I put my favorite NES game there, Star Tropics. I adore Star Tropics. It's absolutely my favorite NES game, and it's one of those that should have been in this friggin' game, but it's not, for some reason, because Nintendo tends to forget about Star Tropics and Zoda's Revenge, which is such a huge shame. So, but well, we're already on 8-1, halfway done the game, we're about 3 minutes in. Not doing great. I'm not a speedrunner. I have speedrun games before. I speedrun Mega Man and Dr. Wild's Revenge, I speedrun Aladdin for the Super Nintendo, Metal Slug X, Sonic 2, various things like that. But I've never speedran Mario 1, so, like, definitely not used to it. One of the things I think that really helped me with these speedruns was the getting up the stairs. It's definitely one of the harder things to do. Going up the stairs, and well, not here, this is me taking my sweet-ass time. Going up the stairs without losing momentum is so difficult. They got really kind of decent at it because of this game, so that was kind of neat. Haven't rewound yet, but I definitely will. Like I said, I rewinded this one and still get that S rank. Just to kind of give you an idea of, don't worry, you don't have to be perfect. I'm certainly not. I still got all S ranks, so... I've seen a couple people online and they're just like going into like, this is the exact amount of time, like cut off to get an S rank. Me, I don't care. Like right there. The game just rewound and was like, oh wow, I keep going, okay. And I just keep going. And at this point, I thought I failed. So there's no way I'm getting an S rank. Now, I thought even if you made the time, if you rewound, you'd immediately lose it. It'd be like an S minus or something like that. It's like, it doesn't count it as an S. Because you had to rewind in order to do this. So, the fact that I got a full-on S rank is kind of funny. Should probably go back and do it legit. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, I make it on 6 minutes and 10 seconds. The world record, I think, right now is 4 minutes. Is it 4 minutes 53 seconds? Did they break that yet? I remember when it was 5 minutes by Andrew G. I don't remember what the G stands for. That Andrew G had gotten, terrible, there are 2 rewinds. He got in 5 minutes, and that was when Speed MS Archive was still really big. And they kept bringing it down. At that point, I think the tool-assisted speedrun was 4 minutes and 55. And someone made that. And I think recently it's been brought down to 4 minutes 53 seconds, which is unreal. If you've never seen the world record Super Mario Bros. Speedrun, just watch it. It is incredible. There's people who have who've dissected like how it works and like the speedrunning techniques, and oh my gosh, it's just incredible to watch. It's such a fun thing. Really, really fun. Here you could do a not glitch, but like jump up on the pipe through the wall, but I am not doing that. I don't attempt those types of things. You can tell the game is geared towards a more casual player. Not that I'm a casual player, but I'm a casual speedrunner. You know what I mean? It's more for fun than trying to get frame-perfect inputs and that sort of thing. Almost there. 10 seconds. It'd be so nerve-wracking on a real speedrun. This one Hammer Brother, my god. It'd be so scary. This guy too. Bam. S rank. Couldn't believe it. Anyways, that is all for Super Mario Brothers. And it's a good chunk of the challenges. Next up is The Legend of Zelda, the original Legend of Zelda, which is way easier. I found Super Mario Brothers to be one of the more difficult games. The Legend of Zelda challenges are very easy, because Link has very specific movement. It's not hard to make him go fast, because he only has one speed, and that is moving forward. So a lot of this is just precise movement, more than it is keeping momentum like it was with Mario. Here it's bam, bam, bam. Easy. You know where things are going to appear, you just do it. Same thing. Enter the cave. Okay. Literally the fastest thing to do is go down, go to the right, don't get hit, bomb, move upwards. So a lot of this stuff was really, really simple. Some of them were cool. It was almost like a puzzle, like this Key of the Keys, where it's like, I know exactly how they're going to move, because they're always going to move the same way, and then position yourself in a way to make your time better. So this was less about precise skill with the controller and more about puzzle solving. And I'm like, that's really unique. But it's also very true to Zelda in general. I think that's really cool. My one big complaint with the challenges that they do present, though, I wish they'd go further. Mario 1 did an okay job. This one does an okay job as well. Zelda 2 does an okay job as well. But, like, Zelda 1 is a massive game. It's pretty big. And they don't have a lot other than the first dungeon and maybe a room of one of the other dungeons and a couple of the bosses. And that's fair, I guess. Like, you don't want to show off the entire game. Like, here's the first boss. Aquamentus. Bop, bop, bop. Don't think, just kill. There you go. Easy. And you get to do a couple of other bosses. You get to do Dodongo, you get to do Gleeok, which is very cool. But it would have been cool to see Ganon, for example. Or maybe they didn't want to spoil the ending, because, like, other than Super Mario Brothers, don't really see the final bosses to these games. So maybe that's why they didn't do it, I have no idea. I know in Dodongo there's a thing you can do where you can use the smoke of a bomb and then stab him, and that'll kill him faster. I have no idea how to do it, but this works just fine. Again, very easy. None of these have been difficult at this point. Even this one. Oops. I'm not actually doing it. Personal best replay, thank you. We defeat the Lionel. Like, this shouldn't stump anyone. You go over to it and you stab it a bunch. There. Not hard. So it's one of those things where it's just, it's a little too easy, because it's just, they give you a perfect setup. Like, this is one of the more difficult bosses in terms of getting speed, but even then it's very easy. I'm just spamming arrows. There you go. Very simple. This one's a kind of cool one. I think this is, yeah. From the beginning of the game, get to the first dungeon. 24 seconds. Not bad. It's not very good. I'm pretty sure I screw up, too. Yeah, right there. Clip into that tree. Damage boost, very nice. Very nice. I love how it also shows the controller at the bottom left, and it shows the input that you put in. That stuff, like, there's little things like that that I really, really enjoy about this game. This compilation's really neat. I love this one. This one was fairly difficult. But I don't know, like, it's under 6 seconds. I don't know what the time limit is. I wish I would have told you. That would be kind of cool. But this one's a neat one, too. All the wizard robes. Bam, bam. The blue ones take 3 hits, I think? No, 2 hits. There we go. Easy enough. This one's actually one of the easier ones. This is a very, very easy 4-star. So if you're farming for coins, because you get coins after you beat each one, this is an easy S rank, and I think it gets you 60 coins per S rank, and it takes you 8 seconds. So this is one of the easier ones. And now the Legend Challenge, which is complete the entirety of the first level. I think this one's a pretty cool one. And I get it. You don't want to be like, here, complete the 4th dungeon. It's like, one, you don't want these challenges to be too difficult to complete. You want them to be somewhat difficult to get good times with, but you don't want them to be difficult to beat. Like, imagine if it was just like, I can't beat the dungeon because it's hard, let alone speedrunning it. So, I get it, but still. With Zelda, I get it. The first level makes a lot of sense to be the thing you need to beat, but I would have liked some longer form ones. Like, I love how Super Mario Bros. Was the entire game. Now, not every game you can do that. Little arcade games, yes, but for, like, Zelda, level 1 would have been cool. But this is like Kirby's Adventure. It would have been cool if it was, like, the full entirety of World 1. I would have loved that. But no, it was just a single level. But if you don't know what you're doing, too, for the Legend Challenge, they actually have a little, almost like a little Nintendo power, which I think is really neat. It tells you how to do it, and the kind of tips on how to get them to get it pretty fast. And it shouldn't be a problem, because like I said, I find the Legend Challenges, the 5 out of 5 difficulty ones are among the easiest, and I script there, literally bypass the friggin' key. And I like how it combines a lot of the challenges, like, oh, here's Aquamentus again. Well, I know how to take Aquamentus, you just stab forever. Bad timing on my stabs, but there we go. Haven't played Legend of Zelda 1 on the channel yet, but I will be doing that before the end of the year. It's my November game, so that'll be a lot of fun. Onwards to Metroid! Weird, not weird, but like, Samus has wonky controls in this. Some of this was difficult, but in a good way. You really gotta get used to how Samus moves in this game. But this was a really, really fun one. You have to get really precise with your timing here, like jumping and shooting instead of just standing and shooting, and make sure you go over. It's just, I don't know, I like that stuff. Very precise. Now, of all these 13 games on this game, I have done a good chunk of them on the channel, and I'm planning to do more as we go. Obviously, I've done Super Mario Bros. 1, but I did the Super Mario All-Stars version, so for the Super Nintendo. We never actually played the NES version of Mario 1. I will, though. I will. Because there's I got a project for next year that I'm planning on. I've kind of mentioned it before on the channel, but we'll go through it in a second. Legend of Zelda, we are playing that this year in November. It's my November game, because that will mean I've played Zelda 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to go on and play Ocarina of Time next year. Should be fun. Definitely fun. Metroid I have played. This Metroid actually was the first Metroid game I played on the channel. Way back in, 2015? God, 9 years ago. The year I got married. Remember that. But at first I was disappointed about these challenges, like, get the missile. Like, really? Wow. Go 2 seconds into the game. But they ended up actually doing some really cool challenges for this one that I really enjoyed. Like here, get the screw attack. Not just get the screw attack, but go through the entire little hallway leading to the screw attack. And what I like is, Metroid only has 3 bosses, one of which is Mother Brain, the last boss. They don't deal with that. But they do deal with Kraid and Ridley, and I love how you do get to fight both of them in this. So here it's like, get into Kraid's lair. So it's like, all right. And if you didn't know where that was, because Metroid's a very cryptic game, especially for people who have never played it before, it's so old, there's a little video showing you what you're supposed to do, and then it's up to you to go faster with it. But then it kind of, all right, chronologically makes sense. Here's Kraid's lair. And I like how you have to get to Kraid and then defeat Kraid. So these are like more of my favorite ones. Slightly longer without being too long, like 30 seconds. Like, that wasn't a big room, but it was pretty cool. Here's the little hallway. Now you can take out Kraid by just going to a morph ball and using your morph ball bombs, and that is pretty quick. But I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to go crazy. I don't care about my life because it's a speed run. And just boom, 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 boom. You can only shoot one missile at a time. Once it's off the screen, you can shoot another one. So being super close, like you can be within Kraid, and that's probably your best bet. So it's sloppy, but it works. Same with Ridley. This is a great one. You get the little hallway leading up to Ridley. And this was difficult. Once I got to Ridley, it was one try, but getting what I felt was a good time in this little tunnel took me a little while because I was like making little mistakes. I didn't want to fall in the lava. If you fall in the lava, it rewinds you. There we go. That was pretty good. And then just to get right in Ridley's face. Let his fireball sail right over you. And jump with when he jumps, if you can time it. I time it terribly there. And dead. Super fun. And then on to Torian. So I like how this one kind of tells a story. Like the Metroid challenges, it like, yeah, get the morph ball, kill some enemies, get a missile, get the screw attack. Now find Kraid's lair, kill Kraid, kill Ridley, find Torian. The next one's going to be bypass the Metroids, and the last one is escape Zebus. You don't get to fight Mother Brain, which is a shame, but at the same time I understand it. The Mother Brain fight is so difficult and can go off the rails so easily. I understand why they wouldn't put it in the game, but still a shame. Still a shame. And snap. Next up is the Metroids, yeah. This one took me a little while too. 6 or 7 tries. They are unpredictable. They always appear from the same place, but they can like get in your way really easily. It's very frustrating. Once you get, there you go. Once you're there, you're pretty good because it's just the one guy. Or, oh no, never mind. Still more. And that was it. There we go. We're good. The last one is, I get this makes sense, and that's the escape from Zebus. Like, it's such an iconic part of Metroid, and very easy. 33 seconds, this might be the fastest Legend challenge in the game. And if you're good with the Samus's control, like, I've played Metroid all my life, so this one's not too difficult. I did drop once, so I restarted. But 33 seconds, I don't know how many coins you get out of that, but I assume if you're grinding for coins, this is probably one of the best ones. If you can do it consistently, that is. Bam, that was it. Easy. Though you do have to wait for this. Show the ending there. There we go. 3 games down, 10 to go. Next up is the original Donkey Kong. And this one was a lot of fun. Very, very simple challenges. But I love the original arcade Donkey Kong. Not playing on the channel yet. I will. Now here's one of my gripes though. Well, 2 gripes. One, here's the only time you'll ever get a hammer, because this is all speedrunning. It's never score-based. So there's never going to be a part where it's like, oh, get a high score within this amount of time. You use the hammer to get at least this many points. Because that would have been really fun too, but they really held to that speedrun concept, which I don't think is a bad thing, but whatever. What's weird too is there's only 3 levels in Donkey Kong, in the NES version of Donkey Kong, there's 4 in the arcade version. And there's one challenge for each of these levels, so here's the first level. Then the Legend challenge is to beat the game. So it's kind of funny how it's like, beat the game in 3 separate challenges, and just beat the game in 1 combined challenge. So they were really struggling for things to do, but it makes sense. Donkey Kong can be beaten in like 5 minutes. Not even that, so... But my other big complaint regarding Donkey Kong is that I love Donkey Kong. It's a great game. You know what's a better game? Donkey Kong Jr. Donkey Kong Jr. is such a fun game, and it's not in this. How is it not in this? And I've heard a lot of people being like, hey, they didn't put all their games in there because maybe they're planning a Championship NES Edition 2. And my thing on that is, look, unless you're getting third-party games to join in, there's not enough first-party Nintendo games to make a coherent and worthwhile NES Championship NES Edition 2. And that's because all the big games are already presented here. You have Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, Lost Levels, and 3, Kirby's Adventure, Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Metroid. Those are the big ones. I mean, I would love to see Star Tropics, because obviously I love Star Tropics, it's such a great game, and I think you could do a lot of fun things. It pisses me off that they just outright refuse to bring it back for any reason. Calm down, Phil. It'll happen one day. But this would have been perfect for this. So, the fact that they don't have enough first-party NES games to make another one means they'd have to bring in other games. We'll talk about that when we get to the credits, though. Yeah, this is going to be about an hour and a half anyways. So we have plenty of time to talk about that stuff. This is what? This is beat level 3? Yeah. This is completely dependent on the fireballs that look like weird little, I don't know, shrimp scampies? I don't know. They're cute. They look edible, but I want to eat one. I don't know why. Looks deep fried. Is that it? Yeah, here's the Legend one. Beat the entire game. Took me 1 minute and 24 seconds to beat Donkey Kong. Holy crap, that's fast. So yeah, one of my projects for next year is going to be, it's called the Black Box Files, where if you know anything about the old NES games, is that there's 30 games, I think it's 30, that are called the Black Box games, and they are represented by having boxes, like the covers of the games, to be just black with basic text and graphics from the game itself represented on the cover. That's how Nintendo kind of advertised the NES games way back in the day, because before that, Atari and Commodore and all that, all their games, all the boxes were like really like beautiful artwork, but it would misrepresent what the game was like. Nintendo's whole thing was that we don't need to misrepresent our games are fun. So let's show the actual graphics on the game, or at least close enough. There's a little bit of artistic differences. But those games, those first 30 games, all had that motif. So it was the first like 2.5 years of Nintendo's first-party releases that followed that rule, and those games, wow, that was close. Those games became the Black Box games. There are 2 games, is it 2 games or 3 games? No, 2 games that became, maybe more? No, 2 games. Became the silver boxes, or gray box, and that was Kid Icarus, and, geez, there was a racing game. Rad Racer? Was it Rad Racer? I don't know. Oh, we're to Kid Icarus. Speaking of Kid Icarus, Kid Icarus was a gray box game, so it, like, they tried to get away from the black box idea, but without being really good about it, so it still had that black box design, which is gray instead. The first game to really, really get out of it was, Punch-Out! And Zelda 1. Zelda 1 had the whole gold thing. They were going for a very different idea with that. But Punch-Out! Was the first one that's like, here we go, here's artwork. Actually, I think it was real people on the cover. So it's very different. Oh, when we get back to the main menu there, you'll see on the bottom right where it says pause there, you'll see the box for Kid Icarus, you know what I mean? Right there. This is already taped, by the way. I'm actually just talking over my recording, so that's why, like, I'm not stopping so you guys can see. Once I finished this and got all the S ranks, I just kind of was like, oh, I should record this, and just kind of went through all of them. I had nothing else to do for an hour and a half. So I figured I'd do that. Yeah, the Kid Icarus challenges, they were fun. It doesn't go nearly as far into the game as it should, considering there are 3 worlds and a really cool auto-scroller, but instead they focus on just the first world. This one level, and then the castle level of the first world. So 2 levels, but whatever. Kid Icarus is a notoriously difficult game, though. It runs off the same engine that Metroid did, and Pit feels weird to control. He moves very oddly, very differently. So some of these challenges actually are fairly difficult. You have to be very precise. Some of them are really easy, like this one, where you're getting the wine. I don't care that they call it the water of life, that's clearly wine. Go to the right, don't go in the middle. As you climb up here, just avoid going into the door. You will lose time if you go to the doors, so do not do that. And then get the wine. Up. Easy enough. And there we go. Here's the full stage 1-1, which I like how every game it gets that. Like, beat the first level. Because when you get down to it, these types of games, the whole NES challenge or championship thingy, is pretty much just a way for Nintendo to advertise these old games. It's what it was for the NES Remix, it's what it was for the Smash Bros. Masterpieces, it's what it is for this. But because you don't purchase the NES games on the Nintendo Switch Online, it's a little bit stupid, because it's just a Netflix style thing. So if people like, oh man, I like the Kid Icarus, I want to play it, they spend like, what is it, $5 for a month or whatever? Not even that, $20 for like a year. And then they can play it and they're done. And Nintendo gets very little money out of it, but whatever. It's still fun. I like the idea that they want to bring these old games. I've had people complain, be like, oh my god, they're still rehashing these NES games. I'm like, this isn't a rehash. A rehash would just be, here are the games. Nothing else. This is something very different, and admittedly, they don't have the full games on here. Way back when I worked at EB Games when NES Remix came out, it's something that I had to tell the staff. I was like, when you are selling this game, NES Remix, you need to make sure they understand that the full games are not playable on this, because that's what everyone wanted. You're like, whoa, like $20 for like a bunch of old Nintendo games? And they thought it was like Mario 1, Zelda 1, like all of these. And you have to explain them. It's like, no, they're fun little challenges. They're really made for people who have played these games to death and want a unique spin on them. And a lot of people would not be happy about that. They were just like, well, that's stupid. I'm like, okay, I get where you're coming from, but I like these things. My hope is that they keep going and they do a Super NES remix or a Game Boy remix. Everyone's like, oh, maybe an N64 remix. I don't think they'll go that far, though I would love it. Here is World 1-4, the first castle level, and that's all you get at Kid Icarus, which I think is a shame. There are 12 full levels to Kid Icarus, plus a 13th final level, which I understand why you wouldn't put that one on there. It is an auto-scroller, so it'd be hard to do a time-based challenge on that. But, like, there's so much more to Kid Icarus that they could have offered on this, so I think this one's a shame. Man, poor Kid Icarus. I would love Uprising to come out on the Switch. Sakurai has stated that he'd like it too. He's the one who designed it, so it'd be kind of neat. This one, if you go through this whole thing without losing much health, you can go against the boss right away, but I do take a detour and get my health filled up. I really think that's the smart thing to do, and the fact that I was still able to get an S rank out of it means they expected you to do it as well. So once you get down to a crossroads here, you'll be able to go left. Go there, you'll find the hot springs right here. And I'm like half-life right now, so I figured why not. Wait it out. It's a few seconds, not really a big deal. That'll give you enough life to fight the boss. Plus, there's still a little ways to go before you get to the boss, so... just take the hits. More than enough life at this point. Two life bars, basically. But no, I want to play Kid Icarus. That one's been on my list for a while. It's not a black box game, so it's not part of my black box file project. I'd still like to do it after the black box games anyways, because it's like, it's next up on the list. Why not, right? Say I did them all. But yeah, I wanted to play every game in the black box library, all 30 of them. And I don't think I've played like any of them. So it'll work out pretty well. I mean, they're very small games, so they'd all be quickies. But it'd be a lot of fun to do. So that'll be like my little project next year. So a lot of the game, basically by the end of this, you'll probably see every single one of these games played on my channel. So, fun. Hurry up and die. There we go. Alright, that's enough for Kid Icarus. On to, oh, Mario 2. I love Mario 2. And everyone's like, oh, it's not a Mario game, but it totally is. Now, I said earlier that I wasn't really a speedrunner, even though I've speedrun a couple games. And that's true, I'm not much of a speedrunner, but this is actually one of the first games I wanted to speedrun back when Speed Demos Archive was really getting big, getting pretty big. There wasn't a Mario 2 speedrun yet, so I was like, oh, maybe I'll do it. And I did find a couple really neat techniques that like weren't as well known. Like nowadays, everything's collaborative. You play online, you stream, and everyone knows a lot of things. Back then, you just kind of hoped for the best and found stuff. So like the double jump glitch and things like that, like I discovered by myself. And one of the fun little techniques I actually get to do in this one, whee! I love how Mario's dead. I don't know where it is. It'll be in the, I'll play as Luigi, but it's to jump basically over the chasm in level 2. And I love that. But this is a cool one for a lot of challenges. They don't go nearly as far as I would have liked to. There's so many different bosses in Mario 2 other than just Birdo. You fight Mauser, and that's pretty much it. Like, what about Tri-Glide and Claw Grip, and there's just a bunch of them. It would have been really neat. But nope, of course not. Though I do like how you get a good chunk of World 2-1 here. Toad. And then if you don't know already, if Toad is carrying something considered heavy, he gets crazy fast. So if you're a speedrunner this game, or just, you know, having a good time, then there you go, that's a good way to do it. And I don't know if this game kind of puts that into consideration with the speed, because like I mess up massively there and I still get an S rank. So, but yeah, if he's carrying something, so basically everything has a weight to it. There's two types of weights, lightweight and heavyweight. Lightweight does not affect your speed whatsoever, and heavyweight will affect your speed, usually making you slower. For example, if you're Peach, you go super slow, because she is like physically the weakest character. Toad is physically the strongest character, and everything is just super fast for him to pluck up. But a heavy item, I don't think a turnip will do it. I think it has to be an enemy or something, but it will make him go faster. But here we go. Here's Luigi. Just jump, right on the Bezo, run this Bezo, bam. But I figured that out, and a lot of the other worlds that require you to kind of take a carpet or something like that, I figured out ways to do that instead, which was really, really fun. World 6-2, I believe, the one where you have to use the albatrosses to get through the entire thing. There's a way to just jump right through that with Luigi, and a way to do it with Peach as well. I thought that was really cool. This is Mouser. I wish Mouser would come back. I think Mouser would be appreciated nowadays if they brought him back like in Mario Kart or something. Not like in Smash Brothers or anything, but like, I don't know. Birdo's back. You know, he's playable. Why isn't Mouser playable in like a Mario Party game or something? Maybe not even playable, just in it. It'd be neat. Good luck with it. This one took me the longest time, I think, in all the Mario 2 challenges. You really got to be careful with how high Peach can jump. So with a running jump, she can make it to the top of a Shy Guy, like right there. But if she's standing, she won't. I take the easy way there, but still that's rank, so. But that took me a while to like get down. And by a while, I mean like 5 minutes or so. Not like anything crazy. You know, there's like 14-second challenges, so like 5 minutes is still a lot of tries. I'm trying to think of what the longest one. I think it was an Excitebike. An Excitebike challenge that took me the longest. You can see over there, by the way, it says July 20th. That's when I got and played this game. And this took me until the night of the 21st, basically. So 2 days. And you'll see exactly like when I stopped playing. It was in the Excitebike one. But when that goes to July 21st, you're like, alright, that's when Phil took a break. And then played the next day. Yeah, this is the Legend challenge. Just beat World 1-1. Very easy. You can do the double jump glitch right here, but really didn't think of it. Plus, it's really difficult for me to do with Mario. Don't save a ton of time. Jump over. You didn't know about this already. There you go. Skip right to Birdo. Bam. Easy. Now, I'm not super good at going super fast with Birdo, so I kind of stay back. Because I'm worried I'm just going to jump right over that egg. Knowing me. And bam, get the big egg, and then pop. Yeah, minute 3, that's not bad, I guess. Definitely could beat a minute, easily. Alright, Excitebike. So this is a weirdly technical bunch of challenges, but it's not super difficult. If you never played Excitebike, A is to go, B is to go faster, but your temperature gauge will rise up. And then that's what that like sound is. It's very annoying. So you gotta balance how fast you're going with your turbo and whatnot, or else you'll overheat. On top of that, you also can angle your bike when you take jumps, and if you angle it forward, you'll go faster, but you need to make sure you land the jump. So it's trial and error on kind of how to play the game. If you run over those little zippy pads, little chevrons or whatever you want to call them, then your temperature will immediately cool off. So that's basically the challenges in a nutshell. You go through, I think, 3 of the courses. Excitebike is one of those really early NES games. I mean, it came out launch window, basically, like Mario Brothers did. But in Japan, for the Famicom, this was a very early game, so it's not very long. This, like Donkey Kong, Ice Climbers, those types of games are all, like, pre-NES, but got released for the NES. So they're very, very small, tiny games. But Excitebike is one of those games, like a lot of black box games I had on the 31-1. A lot of kids back in my time had these kind of like knockoff bootleg cartridges that came with a bunch of games. I had 31 in one, and I had like a 52 in one. Now I've got a bunch of them. I've got like 5 or 6 of them. They're really fun. I don't really use them because they're just, hey, games I already own, but, you know, just like without the copyrights and stuff like that. But that was really a big thing around here in Atlantic Canada. And this was one of them that I had on there. A lot of the black box games I had on there. One of those things I want to kind of let's play a little bit. Not really like the games themselves, but just to show off, hey, look, this is the kind of stuff we grew up in the late 80s, early 90s, you know? Everyone was super okay with piracy back then. It was very different than the way piracy is right now. And no one batted an eye about it. No one's gonna be like, oh, that's illegal. Like, no one cares. Nintendo's not gonna come get me. It's different now with like R4s for the DS, and we had people come into EB Games being like, hey, yeah, I want to trade in my R4, and you're like, you know, those are like illegal in Canada, right? And I'm pretty sure those are actually illegal in Canada. I don't think they're legal in the States, but basically it was deemed illegal because there literally was only one thing you could do with it, and that was pirate DS games with it. People would come in asking for them, like, look, I can't sell you a R4, and I can't tell you where you can get one. I had a buddy who had one. I tried a lot of DS games that way, and as a collector it was fun because it got me to try games that I wanted to collect, and now my DS collection's like over 100 games, thanks to that, because I don't want to buy things willy-nilly if I don't think I like them. Anyways, we're already at the end of Excitebike, and we're, see there, I'm on July 21st, so I had taken the break and started the next day. Still recovering from from wisdom teeth extractions. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, if you fall or if you go over in your temperature, you overheat, then the game will rewind for you. Makes sense. I do super poor here. So this is another. This is the one where I really found out that you can be really not that careful with the legend challenges. Because this one, I was trying to get so much more perfect, and then I just got like frustrated. About a half an hour, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting angry at this. I'm just gonna beat it. I don't care if this is bad anymore. And I'll see what my time is. And again, it was an S. So I was like, alright, I gotta stop trying to aim for perfection for those long challenges. Because this is not a particularly good run. I would like to see someone do really good on this. Stupidly enough, this game does not have, like, online leaderboards, which is ridiculous. Why can't I see, like, the best time for this? It's unreal. One of those things that I don't understand with Nintendo sometimes. Let's make a game all about world competition in time trials and not allow anyone to actually actively compete against it. Yes, that was Excitebike. The next bunch of these are all very, very early Famicom games, the black box games. So they're very simple challenges. This is Ice Climber, one of the simplest games you can get for the NES. Fun? I guess. I had fun with it because I had it when I was growing up, thanks to 31 and 1. Is it actually a fun game? Not really. It's fun if you have a brother or sister who plays games and you kind of want to knock each other off the island, but this is going so fast. This entire thing is just the first level. Get to the second floor, bam, you did it. Get to the 5th floor, bam, you did it. Now to get to what, the 7th or 9th floor, to the bonus stage? And that's just like the challenge. So in other words, play the first level in chunks. Now it's get all the eggplants in the bonus level, and the next one will be beat the bonus level, and then the Legend challenge is beat the first level. It's a very, very small game, and obviously the Ice Climbers are only well known because of Smash Brothers. But with all that fame and popularity they got from Smash, you'd think Nintendo would have done something with them. How is there not an actual Ice Climber, like a new Ice Climber game? They easily could have done it. There's a game, I don't know when it was announced. I think it's for Steam. I don't know if it's out yet. I think I saw it at Wholesome Direct or whatever. But it was like, it looked like it could have been an Ice Climbers game, like a fun precision platforming Ice Climber game. And why Nintendo sits on that? Like, just, no, it's Ice Climbers. It's an old Famicom game, that's all we want it for. We don't want to touch it. Like, no one on the team can think of a cool idea for Ice Climbers. I remember when the DS was out, and I thought it would have been cool if they had a DS Ice Climber where you used, like, the stylus for certain things. I don't really know how it would have worked, but, like, honestly, I think they could have done something. Shames me that they didn't. But yeah, Ice Climber, if you've ever played it, has some of the worst controls I've ever seen in a platformer. You easily can fall through platformers if you're not jumping exactly properly. It is one of those games you really have to play to believe how wonky and not good the controls are. So once I was done this, I was like, good, let's go. And next time is Balloon Fight. Such a fun game. Balloon Fight is basically a copy of Joust, which was an Atari game, I believe, or maybe it was, I think it was made by Midway. And it is basically just, you know, you float with your little balloon fight guy, and you pop other enemies. And if they're not filling up their balloon yet, you can just kill them. But if their balloons are filled up, you stomp on their balloon, it pops, and you hit them again to kill them. It is super fun, and this is the single-player mode, Mode C, which is Balloon Trip, which is like, I don't know if it's forever, I think it's forever, thing where you float to the left and you get a bunch of balloons. And this was super fun. Back in the late 80s, man, this is what me and my sister would play all the time, this type of stuff. Because, I mean, you didn't have a million games like nowadays. I mean, I don't know if kids have a million games, but I mean, they certainly like to stick with, like, Fortnite and just that. But back in the day, you know, we stuck with one game because we had no choice. You just had these games. So 31-1 was mind-blowing. That was so many games. So we got, like, really into them all. And there were, like, obviously we had our favorites, and then a couple of the games were, like, shogi, and we're just like, we have no idea how this game works. But, like, I got to play Karateka for the first time. I think it was called Battle City. Circus Charlie. I friggin' had a Macross game that was on that thing. Like, a lot of these games I never would have played. Sector Z, or Z, I guess. And they're not particularly good games by themselves. But as if they were, like, modes on a major cartridge, it was super fun. We just really, really enjoyed it. It's how I got to play Donkey Kong 3, which I love. I love Donkey Kong 3. Stanley the Bugman? Dude, bring him back. He was awesome. Anyways, here's the Legend mode. It's a Legend Challenge, just beat the first 3 levels. There are way more levels than just 3 in Balloon Fight. And there is actually a bonus level that has pipes, and you collect the balloons. And I'm surprised they never thought of a fun challenge for that. But I mean, it's pretty easy to cheese. You just wait by the pipes. And so maybe that's why they didn't do it. It's like, there's no challenge whatsoever with it. But there we go, that's Balloon Fight. Oh, no, not done, Danny. I'm sorry. Whoopsie dooples. Phase 3. I don't know how far we ever got with this stuff. Obviously, there's no ending. We just keep repeating, but I don't know if we ever got to the point where it repeated. I doubt it. This game's got hard. On to the big games. Mario 3. Whoops. Backed out by mistake. Mario 3. Now, Mario 3, I think, has the most challenges in the game, which makes sense. Mario 3 is a huge game. It's absolutely gigantic. And they have a lot of challenges for this. And it really... This game has the best amount of challenges because it goes through the whole game a little bit. Now, you have the crazy frame-perfect challenges like you're seeing right now. Like, get the leaf, which is, like, surprisingly, like, you have to be perfect. Jump over this. Or get down there. Smack. It looks easy, but, like, man, a 4.78 is an S, but a 4.82, that's an A. So, there's a lot of, like, those, but there's a lot of bigger ones, too, which we're going to see. And a lot of them are beat full stages. So this is easily the best set of challenges. This one's a fun one. Very speedrunny. Like, get used to these rooms, and you gotta be good at it. Bam! That's how you do it. Super good. This one's a weird one. Just get the Tanuki. It's just another hit the question mark blocking, get the item. Woo. 3 challenges were that. Here we go. So World 1-1, and I do not do the crazy strats where you jump right into the clouds, but I think I do a pretty good job here. I think I do. Yes. And then it's all good until right here where I mess up, but I still keep going, still NES rank, because they don't expect you to be a professional speedrunner. They don't expect you to be Mitch Flower Power, you know, so then do all of World 1 too. So I'm like, yeah, we're doing full levels now. This is great. Super, super fun. Mario 3 is such a friggin' gem. It's such a good game. I mean, I know everyone knows that, but it really is that good. Just the levels are very small, and that's what lends itself to challenges so well, is that the levels themselves are tiny in Mario 3. So, that's probably why. We got Boom Boom. Of course Boom Boom. Why would you have a Boom Boom fight? Very easy. Jump. Jump. Collect the orb. Orb. And now we get Larry Koopa. And you fight every single Koopaling in these challenges, which I think is pretty neat, but they're all fairly similar. Like, yes, the layout to their lair is slightly different, and then you got, like, Wendy-O Koopa and Lemmy, who have very, very distinct kind of mechanics, which is cool. But yeah, now from now on, we go through each world. So that was World 1. Now we got World 2. 2 dash, I don't think it had a name. It was like 2 dash desert, something like that. That was weird ideas for levels. But yeah, you get the angry sun. It's a pretty easy level in general. Once you realize how the sun moves, it's a very simple level. That I screw up there in the sand trap, but that's okay. Bam. Now into Morton Koopa. Morton Koopa Jr., which I always thought was weird. Why is his name Morton Koopa Jr.? And I know it's because it's like a singer or whatever. But when I was a kid, I was like, is that Bowser's real name? Morton? Or like, is he a stepdad? We still don't know. On World 3, and I love this one because I don't use the frog suit very often, and I especially don't use the frog suit to go fast. So I like how this one's like, yeah, go super fast with the frog suit, something most people have never done before. And this was a unique one. This one's gonna stick out to me. I mean, it's simple enough, but like, it's still fun finding a good line, basically. Very neat. Always run, jump, never run with the frog suit on land. Got Wendy O. Koopa. Wendy O. Koopa is definitely one of the harder Koopalings because she can throw those little, I always thought they were like lifesavers, like life preservers, but I think they're supposed to be like her hoop earrings. But as long as you hit her as soon as she lands, she doesn't have a chance to throw another one because usually she'll throw a bunch of them. So easy enough. World 4. When I was a kid, my favorite world, Giant World. I love Giant World. 4-1. Super fun. I just thought it was neat. Just like, oh my gosh, they did all these graphics for giant enemies. And like, nowadays you can just scale the 3D models. So they've done it in some of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but it's not as fun when it's 2D and back then and you've never seen it before. And a lot of this stuff was really unique. A lot of people take it for granted now, but it's like, we never saw anything like this back then. Mario having so many power-ups, so many enemies, each world being completely different themed. Here's Iggy, who's blue only in this game. Later on, he's green and is just very tall. That's his, like, defining feature for some reason. And of course, Caribou Shoe, the only level in the game that has this. I love that they made this one a challenge. It controls very wonkily. It's fun. You can jump on pretty much anything. People have modded the game so you can play as the shoe in every single level, and there's some levels where it just straight up won't graphically work properly, which I think is funny. It'll still work, you can still do it, but it'll appear very, like, messy, the graphics will be broken, but yeah, it's pretty much invincible, as you can step on literally anything on with this thing. It's crazy. I think it has the same properties of, like, the boomerang, or not boomerang, the Hammer Brothers hammers that you get if you get the Hammer Brothers suit. Yeah, there we go. Next up is, oh, nice. So yeah, Sky World, which is now my personal favorite level, or world, is 2 worlds in one. You have the ground world, and then you have a fortress that goes into the Sky World. And it kind of links the 2 worlds together into one cohesive world. And this is World 5-4, I believe. Yeah, no, that's a fun one. And you can tell, look how friggin' short these levels are. Mario 3 had a bajillion levels, but they were so tiny. We got Roy Koopa. Roy is my favorite Koopaling. Back then, yeah, it was weird. He was very dark-skinned and had like a more of a maroon kind of color. Now he's straight up pink. But yeah, I liked Roy. He has confidence, you know what I mean? I like that. World 6. 6 Fortress or 6 Fortress 2? Yeah, 6 Fortress 2. And we get the Hammer Brothers suit. So I love what they did with the challenges from Mario 3. You get a little taste of everything in this game. Just great. And even this late in the game, World 6, still a very small level. You don't get anything for the Dark World, which I think is fine. You don't get to see Bowser or anything like that. So I think that's okay. They did such a good job of having a fun smorgasbord of different things, and just kill him in a single hit. I love the Hammer Brothers suit. You feel so powerful in it. And Lemmy. Lemmy is similar to Wendy. He will throw out the rubber balls that he's on. If you're fast, again, he'll only have a chance to throw... Oh no, he'll throw them anyways, jeez. But pretty easy. Still pretty easy. He can move around really fast, but if you don't give him the chance, he won't do it. Hype Maze. Very fun one. This is a weird level, because it's not a traditional level. There are levels that are represented by little piranha plants. Little nipper plants, and you'll get a little treasure at the end. That was the whole level. Very short, very short. Bam. It was just fun, it was unique. Because again, you didn't see that type of stuff in games back then, that much variety. This is before the Super NES came out, too. It's like 2 years before that. A year, 2 year, I forget. There's Ludwig. Bye, Ludwig. Bam. And that's it. I think it's the Legend Challenge next. Yep. And I think this is a good one. World 1. All of World 1. Obviously, you skip World 3 and 4. I love how they called it World 1 Wizard. Obviously, that is a direct reference to The Wizard, a terrible yet awesome movie starring Ben Savage? Which one? One of the Savage brothers, the one from Wonder Years. And it's a movie about a kid played by Ben or Fred Savage, who has a brother, an autistic brother, who's trying to get back to California for, I don't know, dramatic family reasons. No one cared when we were kids. We didn't care. The point was that the kid was really good at video games, NES games specifically. And they find out that there is some sort of video game competition in California. So they make their way across the country. It's the kid, his brother, and like a girl grifter. They pick up on the way, and it's this fun little buddy movie. And they play video games along the way, and it's also like the dad and the older brother are looking for the younger brothers, while there's also like some sort of bounty hunter looking for them. Anyways, it's a ridiculous story, but there was a lot of Nintendo stuff, and the big thing was that they were also using that movie to announce Mario 3. It was ridiculous. By the way, if you try to go for the flute up there, the game will rewind. You cannot beat this level by doing that. I think that's ridiculous. It's like, beat the game the fastest, but oh, don't do it that way. That's too fast. Like, pretty ridiculous. Anyways, The Wizard, if you have a chance to see it, watch it. Sit down with some pizza and a couple friends. Feel free to laugh your ass off about it, because it's not a particularly good movie. And just enjoy the stupidity of what was ridiculous Nintendo marketing of the time. And as a kid, of course, I'm the kid who pointed out that that's not correct. It's like, oh, what, you already got 10,000 in Double Dragon? I mean, no, he hasn't. That showed the score. And also, I don't think you can get a score that high or whatever. And then it's like, here's Ninja Gaiden, the arcade games. Like, that's Ninja Gaiden for the NES. They're not showing the arcade version of the game. I don't know if that's the exact stuff that I'm being making fun of, but like, it's stuff like that. They didn't care. But yeah, it was, man, that was such a thing of my childhood. I only watched it a couple times too. So not really my childhood, more my generation. And he asked anyone my age, which is late 30s, who are like super into retro Nintendo stuff, and be like, oh, have you ever watched The Wizard? And they're gonna be like, oh my god, yes, absolutely. Have you watched it recently? They're like, no, god, no, it's a terrible movie. This one I take the cheap, wussy way out. You are, the game kind of gives you the hint, like, you can make this jump over here if you run really quickly, but I don't. As you can see, I didn't have enough P-speed, so I'm just like, screw it. I learned from the Excitebike challenges that I can probably still get this S rank by doing the cheap way, or not the cheap way, but the slow way, and I totally do. So, I was happy. Yeah, less than 5 minutes, though, to do the entirety of World 1, so it's still faster to beat all of World 1 than it is to beat Mario 1. So, there is that. Oh, the dog. That's terrible. The king has been transformed. He's a doggo. Look at him. He's a heckin' good pup. He's probably pretty happy. So, I think once you get here, too, you've resigned to your fate. There are so many damn auto-scrollers in Mario 3 that, at this point, it's not even the time. It's just don't die. Now, I like to hang out at the front because I know exactly what's going to appear because I've played Mario 3 a trillion times. But if you're playing this, you know, casually, just don't get hit and die, and then by the end, just be at near the beginning, the front of the screen, so that you can hop into the pipe to take out Larry. Not much to say. It's not a very long stage. If it wasn't for the auto-scrolling, this thing would be done in 10 seconds. It's crazy short. Most of the airship levels are short. It's just because it auto-scrolls that it seems to be big. This is the pipe right here. Hello, Larry. Sorry about that, Larry. Aw, damn, Lou Larry, you got me. But no death, so I'm happy. Ooh, that was close, though. That was close. And you do have to wait for this whole thing. You gotta wait until the wand reaches the king, which is another kind of fun thing about it being called World 1 Wizard. You got like a wizard's rod that changes the king back. Down you go. I've always liked that when I was a kid. Like a little cinematic. Whoop, pop. This looks great. That was Mario 3, the best challenge set in this entire game. Now we got 3 games left. We got Zelda 2, the Black Sheep of Zelda. And it was not well liked as I was growing up. I think when it came out, people liked it because, you know, there wasn't a Link to the Past to judge everything from or like compare it to. But then when the Zelda formula started getting like big, this was the one that everyone's like, this is the bad Zelda. And there's still a part of the internet that's like, this is the bad Zelda, but there's a much bigger part of the internet that's like, no, this is Zelda Dark Souls. This is 2D Zelda Dark Souls. It is brutally difficult. And without a walkthrough, it's very hard to know what you're doing. But I actually really enjoy it. It is difficult. I played it on this channel. And I really, really ended up liking it. Woo! I mean, I played it before at that point, but I think it's a great game. Different, yes, but... It's got a very unique combat system, because it is 2D, but it is sword slashies. You can slash upwards, or not upwards, sorry, but like forward... Or you're the size of 2 tiles. You can slash forward on the upward tile, the top tile, or you can duck and slash the downward tile. And enemies have shields and will attack you, and you have a shield. It's really interesting. It's kind of a shame they never kept going with something like that, because the combat is very unique in this game. And you're going to fight a Stalfos. Stalfos are easy, they'll never drop their shield, so it's always about hitting their legs. Bam, bam, boom, done. Easy. It's the dark nuts that are difficult, because they can react to you. Now these guys, what are they called? A Guma? Yeah. These do not have shields, but they have the Hammer Brothers style whipping things at you. But they're pretty easy. Once you get into their like vicinity, they can't really do much against you. And dead. Get to the left. Oh no, so difficult. One difficult jump, and that's the beginning right here. Once you get that, you're good. Hold to the left. Simple challenge. Now, unlike Mario 3 that gives you a taste of the entire game, this gives you a taste of the first dungeon and a couple of the other bosses, which is a shame. It would have been nice to see more. This is a Dark Nut. Oh, sorry, not a Dark Nut, an Iron Knuckle. My mistake. I don't know what the difference is, really, but... The best thing to do is jump and slash as you come down, and it gets behind their shield. And the game expects you to do that. If you don't do that, you're not getting that S. So I do like how it expects you to know that trick. But if you're fighting them normally, like, actually not cowardly, and you are fighting them one-on-one, they can be very difficult. And each one represents a place where you could die, because they fight really well, and the longer, or the farther in the game you get, the harder it is. Here we get... What was this guy called? Oh, I didn't check the name. So this guy has a name in the English version called Horsehead, but he actually has a Japanese name, and this this whole collection uses his Japanese name, which is interesting. Oh, I missed it. Oh, well, Rebonak is another one. This is just supposed to be a blue iron knuckle, but it's called a Rebonak. So I think that's interesting that they use the kind of retcon names. Because in the original manual, it was just, I think it was just called a blue iron knuckle. And it was Horsehead instead of whatever his name was, and it was so bad. I love how this still gets me an S rank. Yeah, okay. Rescue the child. Child's always in the same place. I don't know why they give you world map movement here. There's all in case you get lost. Yeah, but you can just watch the demo and it'll show you where to go. You did it. Woo! And then you just gotta jump over the guy. That's it. And then hoist the child above your head. I've got you, child. And then Barba. This is a cool fight. You have to be really good. You have to do this within 2 cycles. And that's the first one. I did really good there. And then the second cycle's right here. Missed that, which is a shame. I still get it. You have to, and I die! I love that, but if you wait till the 3rd cycle, you will get an A. You will not get an S. And Parappa Palace is the first real dungeon, it's the first palace in the game, and it makes sense that the Legend Challenge would be this entire first dungeon. I don't do particularly good. I do it in Pi time, that's kind of nice. 3.14 seconds. 3.14 minutes, I guess, but yeah, it's neat how much you can avoid doing if you're speedrunning. Now, this is just beat the palace. It's not complete the palace, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because we skip the required item that you need in this game. I forget what it is in this specific palace, but Just like most Zelda games, you have an item you need to get in the palace to continue in the game. And in Zelda 2, all these things were things you needed on the overhead map. So the fact that you were not getting it shows that this is just beating it for the sake of beating it in this game. But if you actually beat the game, or sorry, beat the palace doing this on the real actual NES cartridge, you need to go back in and get the magic item. Well, I do pretty good here. There is a fairy that you can get to fill your life up. It's not super out of the way, so I think you can get it and still get the S time. I decided not to go and get it. First of all, I haven't gotten hit yet, but I do get hit a couple times. But you will get a level up in this challenge because there's enough experience points going around. I already got 90 experience out of 150. And the level up that you'll get in this fills up your life completely. So you can take a bit of damage up until your level up, then your level up will heal you. So if you go to the right here, that's where the fairy is, and we will be coming back down anyway, so you can get on the way back if you need it. Careful with these guys. They'll hit you and they'll damage you, of course, but they'll also actually take experience off you, which is a very unique thing. Grab the key, turn around, you do not want to keep going. They don't even give you experience, but they'll take experience away. There's a couple enemies that do that in Zelda 2. Down we go. Zelda 2. Zelda 2 is the final game I played before I became a father. I had recorded it right before, and I see how much damage it took, and now we're going to get a level up, and now full life. I had recorded it right before Kate needed to go to the hospital, and it was like in November or December when it was put up on the channel, and James was born November 28th. So I had it all done, and then, yeah, it's something that'll always stick out to me, that this is the game, the last Let's Play I did for the channel before I became a father. And the first Let's Play I did after I became a father was actually Batman Returns for Christmas. And after that, I think I did Animaniacs, but the first actual full-fledged Let's Play was Kirby's Dream Land 2, the Game Boy Color. Or Game Boy, not Game Boy Color. Hello, Horsehead, or whatever your actual name is. And you can knock him off the screen, which is very frustrating because he needs to come back onto the screen. So I back off a little bit. And smack dead. You need to wait for the key to land. I tried to grab it here. I actually thought you could. Yeah, huh. Like, wait, really? Come back. And I also stupidly jump over the monument here, because I'm dumb. Can't believe I made that mistake. But yeah, that was Zelda 2. 2 games left. We're almost there. On to Mario Brothers 2. I love how it calls it Super Mario Brothers 2. Because in America, we call this the Lost Levels now, but it's not. In Japan, this was Super Mario Brothers 2. I mean, in Japan, Mario 2 is called Mario USA, so that's a little silly. But I just think it's neat that they called, they kept the Japanese logo and everything. So pretty cool. It's pretty simple. It's more Mario 1 style stuff. I like how they at least spaced it away. So you're not doing Mario 1, then immediately this game. But it's fairly easy. You do all of World 1 a bunch of times. And you do 9-1 at the same, as one thing too. This really gets you to play around with Luigi as well. Because he has a much higher jump, and he's hard to slow down. So everyone's always like, oh, the whole Luigi is jumps high is not a real thing, because that was from American Mario 2, and that game's not canon. It's actually from this game. So yes, it was considered canon. I do okay here. I've never speedrun Mario, or Lost Levels, so it's pretty difficult. Take my time right here. Do a big old jump. Almost screw it up. Not a particularly long first level, but for a first level, this is very different compared to Mario 1. And bam. And then it's like, do it again, but Luigi. I do it slightly faster, but a second faster. When I play this game on my own, I usually play as Luigi, just because I like Luigi more. And for the most part, I think the high jumping actually makes the game easier. Now, obviously, the difficult to stop, like the whole skidding thing, does make it technically more difficult. But if you can control Luigi well, that heightened jump is really worth it. I can't believe I made that jump. Slow it down here. Do a terrible staircase there, too. Still counts. Now World 9-1. 9-1 was cool. In Mario All-Stars, if you beat Lost Levels without warping, you get 9-1. And I didn't really realize this until someone mentioned it. But I never noticed it, and I'm really noticing it now. In the All-Stars version of Lost Levels, 9-1 and 9-2, 9-3, 9-4 are butchered. It's hard to explain, but they use the overhead graphics, overworld graphics, and you just swim through it. Oh, no, sorry, it doesn't use the overworld graphics. It uses the underwater graphics. And the whole point of 9.1 was that it was like a fever dream, and it looks like you're flying. Like in a regular level. And the Super Nintendo version of that does not get that at all. So it's kind of interesting. I didn't realize that they had really made a mistake with that. Anyways, here's the final challenge for Lost Levels. It's World 8-2. Very famous level because there is a hidden exit, which was unheard of back then. If you don't get the secret exit, you actually go right back to the beginning of the level. It's a very small level, though. It's right here. Boom. And it's not a warp zone. This is the end of the actual level. Up we go. And that was a nice fitting challenge for the Legend Challenge, I guess. But there we go. That's all the Mario games. Only one game left. Kirby's Adventure. Such a good game. These are actually some really fun challenges. They don't really utilize the powers all that much because, you know, the powers aren't super fast other than like Fireball and Wheel. But Kirby's movement is very varied in Kirby's Adventure, and it's really, really neat. So there's a lot of really cool ones in here. This is also the one game where I think the Legendary Challenge or whatever is probably... It's one that I really like. No, I think that was a dumb one. We'll get to that, I guess. But all these are really small ones. Just here's a single room in a random level. Fly. Like, there's nothing in my way. Okay. Is it to, like, teach the players, by the way, Kirby can fly and stuff? I mean, I guess. That's a lot of challenges to explain that type of stuff. This one's pretty cool. It's the first room of the first level. It's a little bit of, like, actual movement here. So you get the double star. Take out these guys right there. I love that. The one thing I would have done right here is actually I would have slid off that because you slide with a lot of speed and you can fly with some speed and kind of maintain your momentum. This is another cool one. Same thing, get the double star. Double star is, I believe, like the strongest thing you can get in a Kirby game, or at least in Kirby's Adventure. And you don't get it all that often. I mean, usually you're with the power, so... Here again, if you can get the double star. But it's just weird, like, no powers. There's one fireball challenge, there's one wheel challenge. And after that, everything is... And I get it, it's movement, but... One of the things I think would be a lot of fun about speedrunning a Kirby game is to figure out what powers would be really, really useful, you know what I mean, in a certain situation. Oh, there is a UFO challenge. That one's a lot of fun, actually. I think it might be next. Maybe? No, it is definitely not. Another enter the door. And again, it makes sense. Kirby's Adventure, though, has a ton of levels. So it's weird how, like, it's really not a lot of challenges about individual levels. You really only see a few levels. I love that. The momentum on that downward slope. I love momentum kind of based movement in a lot of games, a lot of 2D games. Really, really is neat. This is completely luck. The only reason you can get this is if the Bonkers does something specific. Right here, it's like, don't run for... Yeah, that's skill. But here he does the double hammer. If he doesn't do the double hammer, you're going to take forever and not get the S rank. So that one's completely about luck. Which is definitely a speedrunning thing. A lot of speedrunning is very much about luck and RNG, random number generation, and that kind of thing. There we go. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one, high jump. This one was easy for me because this is what I think anyone who's grown up with Kirby's Adventure, this is just what you do on this level. But at the same time, it makes sense for it to be a challenge because, hey, everyone used to do this, so like why not put it? It's like such an iconic little part. It's the only boss where you actually have to like get to the boss. So that's kind of neat. Bam, there you go. You have to fight him too. This one's a fun one. Again, it's just like the tire ones where like this area has Fireball. So I think every kid growing up playing this did this room with Fireball. So everyone kind of already speed ran this room when they were kids. If they had played the game, you know, it just makes sense. You're super fast. If you haven't played Kirby's Adventure, by the way, it's such a good game. Dreamland is fun, the first actual Kirby game, but Adventure is the first one with powers. It's so good. So good. This one I got lucky. This was one try, and I didn't think I was going to make it. Kill one, get the other. And I was hoping that one would kill the other there, but this one I actually do get. I was like, yeah! And even with that mistake right there, I still get an S rank. That was complete luck. I didn't think I was going to make that. Here we go. And this is this the first full level? Yes, level 1. So we've already done this room, so it's really not that big deal. I don't think this run actually is very good. I don't think I do well at all. I'm pretty sure you can do a sub 35. Whee! There's that slide. Look at that. That's great. A lot of momentum there. Probably could have done it right there, too, actually, now that I think about it. Do I do it here? No, I think I was going to try to do it. Right there, too. Look at this, it's so slow when you fly. The thing is, Kirby controls well, but it's very easy to mess up his controls. Especially because I'm also used to pressing jump again to activate flying, but in this game you have to actually press up. So I'm really not used to that anymore, so that kind of sucks. This is the UFO challenge. This is a lot of fun. I love the UFO. It's such a fun power, but you don't get to keep it from level to level, so the levels that have it are really like memorable. Here it's just simple. Go to the right, he will never hit you. Go down, charge up a double star. Bam. Charge up another double star. Bam. That'll get everything in your way. Now, this last one is a little bit of RNG because it depends if one of the tornadoes goes really quickly and starts the tornado because they're invincible. Thankfully, I do get it. There's maneuver. Very easy. I should have charged up another double star. I would have gotten like a 26. But oh, this one's a random one. Yeah, I totally forgot about this. Grape Garden. This is another awful, awful run. I did it the first try and I could not believe it was an S rank. Like, doop-a-doop, got hit. Doop-a-doop, oh, got hit again. Oh yeah, I almost die. I get hit so often. Go in here. If you keep going, there's a secret, but obviously that's not the point of this challenge. This part's actually pretty decent right here. Yeah, a little jump over there. Then it just goes all this shit. I can't believe how much I got hit here. It's so bad. And still get it. S rank. Bam. So easy. If you are any good at retro games, this game is not going to trouble you with S ranks. They're just not. It's like sort of disappointing because like part of me is like, whoa, oh, look at me, I did it. I S ranked the entire game. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, but I didn't really have to try all that hard, except for like some really specific challenges. But overall, it's like, Nintendo's taking it easy on people, I guess. But there's so many rankings. There's like a C, a B, A plus, A++, and then S. So it's just like, just make it difficult if you're gonna do it. This one's fun. I love the wheel. The wheel power is so neat. I've said this before on the channel, but I loved courses and tracks and stuff when I was a kid. So stuff like this is like a 2D little race course. Knowing when to use the tire well. There's another one that I think wish they would have done where you get left and right, and you have to actually beat a bomb down to the bottom. And that's really, really fun. This one's neat because I don't really go into this room very often. This is in Orange Ocean where there is a completely different way to go, and it's the way I always go. This is like never the way I go. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do. It took me 2 tries, I think. It's very easy, as you can see. Bam. As long as I don't really stop, you're good to go. The Meta Knight challenge. This one's hilarious because Meta Knight seems like such a difficult fight. Literally just keep attacking. Do nothing else. Unless he leaves your range. Like, just keep doing this. You're gonna outlast him. Now on the boss-like challenge of the actual Kirby's Adventure game, you can't really do this because you have to go through all the bosses in a single, like, bar of life. So it's not really smart, but that's how easy to do it fast. And the last challenge. The last challenge is to go through the last level, not the bosses of the last level, but the last regular level. And it's don't get me wrong, I get why they did it. The last level of Kirby's Adventure, as you can see, is grayscale. It's a truncated version of the original Kirby's Dream Land. Similar to how Spring Breeze in Kirby Superstar is the same thing. And it's a neat idea. It's very much like you're also kind of getting the Game Boy game in this, so you go through all of the Wispy Woods level, or sorry, Green Greens level. You don't fight the bosses. It's just the levels themselves. So here's all of Green Greens, you know, you go through... Oh, no, you don't go through the trunk. Okay, and here's Castle la 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 la. But, so I get why they chose it, but there are no powers in this level, because it's trying to kind of play off of the original Kirby's Dream Land, which did not have powers. So none of these enemies have powers. There might be a Waddle-Doo with the powers or that, but again, I think the whole fun of speedrunning a Kirby game is to know which powers are good in every situation, especially for speedrunning, you know, like which one will get you out the fastest, which one does a lot of damage for bosses, so and so. But having the final challenge be completely just movement-based, I guess isn't like a bad idea. I would have put this as like a penultimate challenge, but I would have put like something about powers in the Legend challenge, especially because considering this is the last challenge, the entire game. Was it 156 challenges, I think? but still not very difficult. Minute 34. Oh, you can get Parasol and Cutter here. Okay, well that's something, I guess. Not that it matters. Bam! That's it! That is, Nintendo World Championship NES Edition. NES Edition. NES, I don't know what you called it when you were a kid. But I do go to the staff, the credit roll. I think it's deserving. It gives us a chance to kind of talk overall. Overall, was this a good game? Yeah, it was fine. Rental stores for video games aren't really a thing. I worked for Blockbuster Video when they closed down. This is a perfect weekend rental. Or if like a buddy has it, be like, can I borrow that for like a weekend? It's a perfect that. But that is it. That is it. A physical copy of this game was $80 Canadian. $40 for the digital one. Because the physical one had a bunch of stuff that I didn't want or need. I would have probably kept this for $40 physical. But I was able to kind of get this, play it, beat it, and use something that EB Games has called the Platinum Return, whatever the hell it's called, where basically if a game, you have like 10 days, if a game doesn't live up to your standards, you can bring it back and put the money towards something else. You only do that once. You can't like keep doing that, or else it'd just be ridiculous. But I did it on this because I was like, look, I expected it to be somewhat short. I did not expect it to be this short or this easy. So it did fall well under my expectations in that sense. But I put that money towards the new Zelda game, so I'm happy. But yeah, no, for a rental, if that was a thing, this is perfect. Absolutely perfect for a rental. Because it's not a bad game. It's got a lot of cool ideas, and its presentation is a lot of fun. Now, what's really frustrating, though, is if you don't have the Nintendo Switch Online, 2 of the 3 main modes are locked away, and that's absolute trash. You're not, I don't think anyways, I don't think you're actively competing with people live. You're seeing ghosts, or like doing like kind of things like that, survival matches. So like, you can't even do like the daily challenges, but like that has nothing to do with online. So I think that's ridiculous, the fact that they hid 2/3 of the modes on an online thing. Whatever, if you already have the Nintendo Switch Online membership, then whatever, it's not really a big deal. But the NES Remix games are straight up better. They have more games, and that's obviously the big complaint, is they needed more games. And I get a lot of the games that they could have added that were NES developed and published wouldn't make sense, like golf, volleyball, baseball, tennis. That's not super fun for this type of thing, so I get why they wouldn't have that. But like, man, Star Tropics, Zoda's Revenge, Punch-Out is probably the biggest omission here, in my opinion. If they were to make another one, you'd have to have third-party games. A Mega Man or 2, a Castlevania, I think RC Pro-Am or Bermuda Triangle, or what was it? Not Bermuda Triangle, sorry, Cobra Triangle would be such perfect games for like an NES Edition 2. But whatever, I hope this did well. Obviously, I'd rather it do well, because that will hopefully lead to Nintendo thinking, hey, maybe we should do a Super NES version or a Game Boy version, because there are so many games with this idea. It would be so good. It'd be so perfect. So, I can appreciate what they tried to do here. I just don't think you get the value out of the money that you spend on it. That's all. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this. This was ridiculously long. I can't even put this up as a quickie. This will be one of those weird videos I put up and then will, like, be forgotten because it has no playlist to be put into. So, I hope you had fun. And if this helped you at all, comment below. I'd love to hear if this actually helped you. Like, oh shit, I had trouble with that challenge. Now I got to see it. Thanks, Phil. Thank you, Phil. Maybe I'll subscribe. Speaking of which, you should subscribe. And with that, I'm Phil Blanks. See you next level. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to know when the next episode is up. If you want to support my channel, share some videos with some friends and consider supporting me on Patreon.